Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the new cup that's coming out now. It's going to be the Jungle Cup. We're going to have some test battles here to test out some teams before the meta is going to be out now. And yeah, we're going to have an interesting team here. We're going to have a team with Piloswine, the Charjabug, as well as the Altaria. Those three work actually really well together, and I really want to try them out. And especially Piloswine seems to be one of the best meta breakers for this current meta here. And as you're going to see, we're going to have here already a very solid lead. But also what you're going to see here in, I think, 3 of the battles today, I was interrupted in the middle of it, and I needed to do something else at the same time as well, which I wasn't planning to. And so some of my plays don't make sense. One of them is this one. I wanted to use a shield. I just got interrupted in the middle of it. I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? And as you guys see, we are not gonna be in a perfect spot now. It made way more sense for me to shield there. And I wanted to shield, but at least we have to get somewhat of an advantage now back. We're going to be able to go here for an extra fast move with our Charjabug, which is alright. And with that, we are going to be able to now have a little bit of an energy advantage. And of course, we kind of want to use it for later on. But they're going to stop onto the Cradily, and this is going to be a bit of a tough matchup. But the one thing that I see here right now that can help us out quite a bit is the fast move of Cradily. It's going to be Bullet Seed. It's not going to be Acid. And I do think that's a little bit of a mistake, which you're even going to see in other teams later on as well, where people are running Bullet Seed on the Cradily. Because what we will see here is Acid will have knocked us out with one charge move, Bullet Seed doesn't. And with that, we're going to be able to survive. We're going to be able to usually survive any hit here as well, as both Thunder Punch as well as Superpower is resisted. And so we are going to be able to get the KO here, and we're going to be able to also move on to the next one. And good games to the opponent again. Those are all our viewers of mine, so shoutouts to you all. Appreciate it. There's going to be like 2 or 3 more battles like this, sadly, in here today as well. This is a battle that I needed to include here as well, because shoutouts to you. I get your struggles here. There's someone who brought a little cup version of this one in here, and yeah, I kind of want to highlight it here. This time around, it's the Great League version. Usually, Jungle Cup is always Little Cup, so I do understand the confusion there. And also, it's kind of cool to see that Dunsparce is allowed, which I forgot about. And I think it's going to be a cool Pokemon to run. So maybe you're going to see some double Dunsparce action again here for this meta, because I think this is actually going to be very cool. But what I want to talk about in this video as well is kind of on what my experiences are so far for those battles towards the meta. And one thing that I can definitely tell you, which you should be mindful of in both building your teams defensively and offensively, is that having rock-type coverage seems to be a very, very good thing. And a common thing though as well, which makes me believe that Pokemon like Altaria, which is currently on top of that meta, might not always gonna stay there. I think that Altaria might be a little bit overrated here. Not saying that's a bad Pokemon by any means. It's a very strong Pokemon who worked out really well for me as well. But I feel like you have to really kind of play around it, because there are a lot of Pokemon that have rock type coverage. That's just something that I kind of noticed. Here, I had a Charge Move Start, but of course I know that I would have not been able to get the move off. And so I can catch the Aura Sphere on my Charjabug, and because we have the fast move pressure already from the Piloswine on them, we should put them into Volt Switch range, which is very important because we're not running Discharge. Crunch on this team here, or like in general in this meta, does not make sense. Don't go for it. Go for Discharge. Discharge is better for this meta. Crunch is better for the Open Great League. There's next to no Ghost type really that you can target here. The Ghost type that is still really around here is going to be some like a Driftblim. Cool, you target as well with a Discharge, so there's no point of running Crunch on this Pokemon. But something I can also say for myself there, I think it's not really worth it. But yeah, here we're going to be able to win yet another game. So again, this team actually worked out quite well, and we can move on to the next one. I'm actually, by the way, curious for the gameplay later on against where I completely messed up because I wasn't really looking at the screen because I had other things to be doing at the same time, because I want to see on how bad it actually looks. But I still, of course, want to include it here because I appreciate you taking your time, all of you, to help me do this video. Like, for any viewer that battles me here, I always want to include every single game in them. Even if stuff happens in real life that I cannot really change about it, I still kind of want to showcase the battles there. Because I just appreciate, of course, all of the support, all of the help here towards this one as well. So, yeah, I just want to appreciate it. I want to kind of showcase still the video, even though that some of the battles might be a bit messed up on my side. Anyway, we're going to have here Lantern against us. I think Lantern is a great Pokemon. I think Lantern is a fantastic Pokemon in this meta. I think it's going to have a lot of play with Water Gun. I think it's a Pokemon that I want to showcase as well. I think it's a Pokemon that's very important for team building. I think it's a Pokemon that's also quite easy for team building. So if you still have your old Lantern running around, go for Water Gun Lantern in this meta. I think you will not regret it. I honestly think you will not regret it. I think there are a lot of Pokemon that you can target with it, and a lot of Pokemon that don't want to face it. Here, you see me not getting a fast move through. How could this happen? I didn't go for a fast move. It was my fault. It was absolutely my fault. And this is the other gameplay here with the foreshadowing that I did before, where Bullet Seed on Cradily is kind of losing them the battle. If they had Acid, I would have went down here already. But with Bullet Seed, I'm actually going to be able to go for 2 access with my Charge Bug and still go for the charge move with my Piloswine. And again, we see here on how strong also Piloswine is in this meta. Piloswine is a very, very good Pokemon to run. And we're going to be able here to win without even showcasing our final Pokemon. I know that I had to do some stuff during this battle as well. I remember the player, but I think it does not matter at all. I don't think it mattered whatsoever. So let's see. We're going to have here the Aqua coming through. Very good from the opponent. And they're going to have here again a Pokemon where if I had Discharge, I would have had some neutral damage coming up their way. With Extra being resisted, I barely do anything. That doesn't mean that I would have been able to get the KO against them with Discharge either. Discharge is a bad move, just generally full stop. It's still a stab move, it's still neutral. But it's a bad move. It's not a great move at all. And so, as we will see here, we're going to have to take the hit, of course, as Altaria in the back has no play against the Wigglytuff. The Wigglytuff has absolutely, is so strong against Pokemon. It's no point of us shielding here or us going into anything other than our Piloswine. As you can see, they have sadly the Shadow Scissor in the back. And what this means is I just get walled here, and that's what I kind of mean with it didn't really matter. I don't think actually you see really anything where it changed. I know they was like busy or whatever. I can't even pinpoint if I did a mistake. Yeah, I don't think I did, to be fair. I think this game was totally fine like this. But there was nothing I can do here. The only thing that I can still try to do is try to catch a move, and that is quite an obvious play. And so the opponent, of course, catches this, but even then, I would have lost no matter what. So, yeah, well done from the opponent. I think the water gun version of the Quagsire is actually a very cool shout. Again, it's very similar towards what the Lantern can give you. So, yeah, I think it's a cool team. Shout out to you. Well done. Well played. Of course, we got kind of a bit walled, I think, but who cares? It's test battles. Good job there. Well done. Let's move on. Cradily. I think that's also most likely going to be a few of those battles now where I'm like, we're going to have here Crossler coming in. That was actually the first battle that I did with this team as well here, where I was a bit worried because I now only realized that I have nothing for Crossler. I only really have my lead here for Crossler. And yeah, I want to see here, I think, like, especially the few earlier battles were a bit more messed up for my side. But let's see here, we're going to have the Diggersby coming through, everything is fine. I should shield this move up, just in case the Rock Wrecker. And I actually do a bit of a mistake here by stopping out straight away, because the opponent stops out as well into their Piloswine. Here I realize I don't have an answer for Piloswine unless I use my own Piloswine. It's alright still with a Charger Bug, but what I was realizing here as well is how important it is to have Rock-type coverage in this meta, because look at the Stone Edge, it just one-shot us, and that's something that's like a bit more of a unique coverage move of Piloswine. You would rather usually use the move High Horsepower on this Pokemon as like some neutral damage. Here you see me not going for a charge move, like here's already where I had to kind of do something else real quick in real life. It absolutely had no impact on the battle, so shout out to you, there's nothing I could have done here. Yeah, good game. Next up, we're going to have the Togekiss coming through here as well. That is going to be right for us. Diggersby comes in, and this is going to be a fantastic lead. And what you see here is actually very smart by me. Shout out to myself. I was able to just go and catch the move here onto my Altaria instead of staying in and going for a charge move. While it is quite lucrative to stay in there and be like, yeah, I'm just going to go for the Powder Snows, just going to go for my Icicle Spear and go for the charge move there, I feel like it doesn't make sense here. Because the thing is that the opponent's Diggersby has only resisted charge move damage against Altaria, and Altaria has now a fast move that generates a ton of energy. We know that there's Togekiss still in the back, a Pokemon that Altaria doesn't want to face. So not locking myself in and waiting basically the 15 seconds basically to get my charge move off and everything was so much smarter, because now I can align myself. Now I'm going to have still my Charge Bug, which can go for the full farm down. I have energy on my Altaria, I still have my lead left with energy, I have energy on all of my Pokemon. And they swap back into the Diggersby, a Pokemon that will go down to this charge move here. And now it's down to the final Pokemon that they have, it's going to be their own Piloswine. And we should be in a very positive position here, I think. We're going to be in a position where there's next to nothing that really can go wrong here. Because what we have is a ton of shields, so we have a healthy Piloswine, we have a shield advantage generally speaking, and we have a Shadow against us as well, which means that they will just take more damage, and they go for the Stone Edge here. I don't really see the play there. I guess they were hoping that I no-shielded. I think that's what they kind of were hoping, that I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go no-shield here, and then like Stone Edge does a little bit more damage to try and knock me out. Here they go for the Icicle Spear because we're kind of close to the range now, but as you can see, we are going to be able to win this battle, and we can move on to the next one, where we will face off against a Marowak. a Shadow Kanto Marowak. A great lead for us, and we see the swap button to Spiritomb. And again, I realize this team kind of struggles quite a bit with those rock type coverage moves, because my best play here apparently is to stay in, but I don't really want to stay in. I really don't want to stay in here. So I'm going to swap out actually into my Charjabug, a Pokemon that doesn't really have a lot of play against the other Pokemon there, and I still have 2 good Pokemon in the back against the Marowak, and so I was like thinking that's mostly the best play that I can go for. And as you see here, the shield's coming up. We have to... Wait, do we no shield? We can actually no shield here. The Rock Tomb is going to knock us. Never mind. I should have not no shielded, but I can get some energy here. Just to realize I'm not going to have the fast move pressure of last season with Altaria. And so with that, we are not going to be able to go for the full farmer in time. They're still going to get another move. I have now the Marowak against me, and I know that I would need to go for most likely charge move even with my Altaria now to really knock them out. Anyway, Icicle Spear's coming through, not doing enough damage, and we have now a ton of energy on our own Altaria, but it depends on what they're going to have in the back, on if we're going to be able to win here or not. But as you're going to see, it's going to be the Dunsparce. That's going to be a matchup where I have no idea if we're actually going to be able to win or not now. It is going to be quite close. We're going to have our charge move, Sky Attack, land against the opponent, and we can try to do even another charge move right after as well. And so we have the energy advantage, but the opponent has a damage advantage, and so what we have to get to is another Sky Attack afterwards. But as you saw, 3,000 coming in from the opponent, I know this game is over. Well done. Dunsparce is a very good Pokemon in this meta. I definitely would recommend you to give this Pokemon a try. It might be time again for Dunsparce time. Anyhow, we're going to see here Mightyena. Mightyena, a Pokemon that I was talking about as well in the top team video towards Cup. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. It's an interesting one, and I think those mostly the last 2 battles here could be also battles where I kind of was busy in real life and did some mistakes. So let's see on how things gonna happen here. But we're gonna be able to let this move go. So far, everything is fine. That's how I would recommend playing it out as well. In comes all the Altaria. Sure went for Crunch Run earlier. Doesn't really matter. The 99, actually 80% of the time, it doesn't matter because we don't get the debuff here. It didn't matter here at all. I can still go for another charge move, which is fine. But I kind of feel like I'm losing a little bit of my positioning. Here we actually get the debuff, which is funny. Doesn't really matter, does it? I make a mistake here. I make a mistake. I just had no shield. That's fine. That's totally okay. I should have used my Piloswine though, because Piloswine just has more fast move pressure, but I did kind of underestimate the energy gain of the Altaria, and with that now I used shield, a shield that I don't really need to use if I would have played everything perfect, but I didn't play everything perfect, and this is going to be here showcase as well. I should be fine maybe letting this go and then try to win with the Piloswine, but I stop out into the Piloswine now, trying to farm them all the way down. They stop out into their fortress, and now we're going to be in a bad position. Again, I don't think that's anything that I could have done better here as well in the gameplay, so I wouldn't really blame myself being busy there as well. Well done from the opponent. Interesting team. I think the team is really cool. Is it one of the similar teams that I had as well in my top team video? I don't know. Could be the case, but we can move on to the next one. That's going to be the final one for today. We're going to have the Denny against us. That's going to be a very nice and positive lead for us. And we also see the third coming in. A Pokemon that will not enjoy any of our charge move pressure here, especially because they are going to now go up against the Altaria, where they're going to be forced to go for the Swift damage. As Trailblaze doesn't really help him here, he's going to go for the Swift, and the Swift is barely doing anything. And he's going to go for another Swift, and the Swift is again barely doing anything. The issue here is now, I do a big mistake here. I decided to go for the CMP tie. I didn't want to go for the CMP tie. I just didn't count correctly. I wanted to go one fast move earlier. And I let it go. They still survive with 1 HP, which is fantastic here, as we will see the opponent going into their Malamar, which means I know that my Charjabug is going to have a great time here. While if I had Bug by Charjabug, I would have just completely ate them up there. I am going to be able to eat up this charge move though, which is going to be great, and they stop onto the Denny. And they might think, that's a cool catch here, that really works out well for them. But it doesn't, because what we have is, we have another charge move start on our Charjabug, and we're going to put them now into the range. We are going to be able to get some nice damage and some, maybe even the KO here against the Denny. Icicle Spear's coming through, as the opponent decides to go ahead and go for... yeah, the no shield. I'm going to be able to spam those moves against the opponent's Malamar, and we're going to be in a perfect position in order to win this battle. I just need to get one more shield from the opponent, and as he's going to reach up to another Icicle Spear, I know already at this point, this game is over. The opponent was a little bit too greedy here, because we have the Exeter, and with that, we are going to be able to win this here. And hopefully, you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.